is just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all well, hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to talk about what has been transpiring on Twitter over the weekend that took my interest, and I'm keen to see this one play out, concerning the quartering and Ian Miles Cheong. Now Ian Miles Cheong is and I'm going to say the word anyway, journalist. By all means in the comments, tell me what a journalist actually is. You'll soon find that since there isn't one of those in existence, journalist seems apt. He works for a few places, one of them is Rebel Media. Now Rebel confused me because I thought they kind of went out of business. I stopped paying attention to them when Lauren Southern stopped working for them, I think. Or when they stopped covering Jessica Yaniv when they were last relevant. It's a while ago, if you didn't know already. The quartering I don't really pay much attention to either, but only because I can't keep up with a lot of commentary channels. Jeremy over the years has done some good things and some rather bad things, and no one's really forgiven him for the whole peeing in his basement thing. His drunk streams are quite funny, sometimes when he's on the back foot he does get quite comical. Ian Miles Cheong is no different. Ian Miles Cheong is a known swatter, and like a good little journalist, a thief as well. So it can be safely said, neither, to some, many in fact, are desirable people. I personally have no vested interest in hating or not hating. I do find it fascinating that Ian Miles Cheong is elevated on platforms like Twitter by the likes of Elon Musk. I find a lot of what Ian Miles Cheong cover to be copied off other people, but that is a plagiarism argument that apparently is okay there. And that's quite alright, you know, you do you boo, you do your own thing. I just don't like the idea of elevating a moron like Ian, who gets into a lot of trouble in the country he resides in, for example. Separate discussion for another day. The reason we're going to be referencing him with quartering though, is because the quartering started something. Ian Miles Cheong decided, I'm going to be a dickhead back. But by doing so, he's set himself up for a bit of a fail. So we'll start with the quartering. Ian Miles Cheong caught stealing and simply says, cry about it, he has everything wrong with monetization on X. The Publica. If you're going to steal our headline, graphics and hard work so you can make $4 reposting it to Twitter, the literal least you could do is link our story, you're a parasite, have a great day. Ian, cry about it. Now I firmly believe in linking all sources I cite in my videos. They are typically found in the pinned comment. All these tweets will be in the pinned comment, they're all archived. It should be noted, if you are monetized on X or Twitter, there is a chance you lose earnings on those posts because community notes exist. It is quite possibly my favourite feature about those who are monetized getting community noted because it's hilarious to know they're not earning anything from their posts. Ian is one of those individuals who I know has had many community notes written about him and his posts. The quartering. Very cool that Still Grey or Ian Miles Swatter cuts out our website, The Publica Now, while stealing our headline to monetize it for himself. At least link the article, you absolute piece of Malaysian anal fisher. Ian. The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. Amy Ham wrote this on March 1st, 2024. Dutch manufacturer who created world's first baby sex doll now offering dog sex dolls for zoophiles. See, we're going with something real high-end here. The quartering. I'm curious, when you have someone like this admit to stealing from independent journalists to make more money on X, what is our organization's recourse? Twitter has no tools to protect us, Elon Musk. After Ian had written, cry about it, Sarah Fields. Ian, I work for the Publica. Honestly, the least you could have done is leave our name at the top. I don't know why we can't just work together and get along. Ian, could have asked me nicely before calling me a parasite, Sarah. So that's never happening. Unless Jeremy and whoever runs the account retracts his lies and attacks, I have no intention of aiding this publication. All these tweets, by the way, are vitally important because Ian's going to write a check. That check is going to come with a receipt. The quartering retweeted his first tweet by saying, thoughts on this, Rebel News Online? Your employee is stealing from other independent journalists and laughing about it. Ashley St. Clair replied, Ian is single-handedly stopping good creators from posting exclusives on this platform with his content theft. People like him should be demonetized in my opinion. Has been pretty horrible every time I've privately called him out on this as well. And there's a point to that. I fully believe in free press. I fully believe in free speech, but no one is free of consequence. And stealing other people's content is plagiarism. If you then go to make money off other people's work, you are effectively a thief, and like any other journalist, lacking in any credibility. The quartering. That loser, Ian Miles Swatter, posted this as if I just blocked him. Ha 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 ha. 1, he's not blocked. 2, he's had me blocked forever. Ha 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 ha. Because Ian posted the whole you were blocked by the quartering thing. Ian handles things very well. We're going to get to that soon as well. In fact, here. The quartering. More fake and libelous statements from Rebel News Online staffer and Elon Musk Golden Boy. This is a 20-year-old video where I tell a story about my computer repair days, finding CP on a customer computer and calling the cops on them. For that, he calls me a PDF file. Disgusting. Ian Miles Cheong. I don't like being lectured by a fat PDF file, which is what Jeremy Hambley is. Here is the creep advising that word on how to clean up their messes. Context is vitally important. We'll get to that soon as well because I can't play that clip. You'll understand why soon. The quartering. Archives sent to my lawyer. Open and shut libel in both Malaysia and Canada. I can't believe Rebel News Online tied themselves to this Ian Miles Cheong. They are both going to get sued. I wonder if they'll start a crowdfunder to pay his legal fees. Retweeted by Jeremy. Thoughts on Rebel staff for stealing independent journalism and when called out, issuing vile libelous false PDF Ilya claims against the outlet he stole from, tagging Ezra Levant, who runs Rebel News, and a bunch of other people who I don't really care about that much. Sarah Higdon replied, community notes don't work fast enough, but there should be a fast way for a creator to report the theft with a link to their proof, then have it show the source at the bottom like a community note. This was originally posted as a reference of how it should go. Obviously there would need to be control, so you can't just tag a false link though. And I agree with this statement. Shiloh, taking people's content, attempting to pawn it off as his own is Ian's entire personality, Jeremy. Then he acts as if he's a victim, but others are crying. That math ain't mathin'. Because Shiloh had called Ian out on this, after Ian had claimed that Jeremy Hambley was trying to get him fired from Rebel News Online. Ian had said, cry about it some more, I might care if you cry enough. The point that Shiloh made though, stealing intellectual property is still stealing, is vitally important here. You cannot just steal somebody else's work, you have to make it transformative. In the context of what Ian did, and does, a lot of the time, he really doesn't. The quartering. This clown thinks I'm not archiving these posts. Working for Ezra Levant, who has me blocked, is basically the last chance he had as he's been just about everywhere else at this point. He thinks he is untouchable. He thinks there are no consequences in his life. We will see. Included, Ian Miles Cheong. I'm retracting my previous statement to repost it with an amendment about Jeremy Hambley, who some allege is a PDF file enabler for advising PDF files on how to avoid getting their illicit materials discovered by tech experts. Hope that clears things up. Anyone worked out where we're going with this yet? Because this is interesting. I am genuinely fascinated by the fact that Ian dug his heels in because I don't think he thought Jeremy would be willing to go down this path. He also may have thought that Jeremy is still a bit of a lolcow, which he can be from time to time, of course he can. I don't think Jeremy would deny that from time to time he has done things that could qualify him as such. One thing though that does separate the quartering from that of Ian is, Ian has scorched every olive branch he has had. Every single one. Which is why he's with gutter trash like Rebel News. I may have earlier stated relevancy with Jessica and Eve when Lauren Southern worked for them, but in truth they weren't relevant then either. I only knew of them because of Gamergate. Ian is running out of options, and him going very aggressive with clips out of context speaks volumes about his own reactionary nature. These tweets were all from March the 2nd. We're now going to go to March the 3rd because we have more to cover. The quartering. Looks like Ian Miles Swatter will be losing his monetization soon given multiple DMCA claims. Lol. Normally I would fight against this, but this guy doesn't even bother to try doing the bare minimum for fair use. And there's a valid point there. I don't mind people copying my content, but it has to be transformative, right? It has to be fair use. You can't just re-upload my content at the same time I've uploaded it, for example. That's completely a dick move. After tweeting his archives being sent to the lawyer open and shut case in both Malaysia and Canada, he retweeted by saying, after fear of being sued and losing his precious Twitter monetization, Malaysian fake conservative Ian Miles Cheong has now deleted his libelous tweets in hope I did not archive it. Sadly, I did. I'll be making a video on Ezra Levant Rebel News Online on Monday. Too late. Ian has committed a bit of a cardinal fail here. It's not really a sin, it's more of a fail. The cardinal fail is forgetting that the internet really is forever. If you forget this, you are going to get got very easily. Anyone could have archived those tweets. Hell, I've archived these tweets. The moment it's archived, it's safe. You're done. Quartering later followed up, later in the day with, imagine you're in my shoes. An employee of a news agency, Rebel News, and Ezra Levant with 1 million of his own followers states as fact without evidence that you are a PDF file in response to being called out on theft. Wouldn't you seek the utmost remedy? It's not drama. And I agree with that as well. It's not drama. This is a fact. that Ian Miles Cheong has stolen content from somebody else and has resorted to a false allegation, one that is poisoning of the well, which is in nature what it is, in an attempt to silence those who have a valid point of criticism as a point of professionalism, that perhaps this was not the correct way forward. Sure, there's a history between us, but this is clear-cut libel with malice. You're dang right I want Elon Musk to demonetize him and Rebel News to fire him. It's no different than Joy Reid or Rachel Maddow doing the same thing. People take his post as fact and are in my comments calling me that. They say that to guests on my show. Of course, I have proof of all of this. This is the exact reason this law exists, to stop malicious lies. This damages my brand, hence my earlier remark of poisoning the well. Don't do that to others. This is, for many of us, our job. If you go out of your way to harm our brand out of malice or spite because you've been called out for something that you did wrong, it speaks volumes about your level of arrogance that you think only you could ever be correct. He wants to pretend it's about his lazy freebooting of the public and now content. It's not. It's about his libelous, damaging statements as an employee of Rebel News, and you've written Ezra Levant wrong. To prove the point that others have been making these claims against the Quartering, the Quartering did tweet out an image, which I had screenshotted anyway. I'm going to take everything from this idiot. Quartering famously wants to F his friend's daughter when she turns 16. Gross, disgusting. What could they possibly have to talk about? Quartering complaining that the women in the cartoons she watches aren't sexy enough. He's basically a PDF. Retweeted by Ian Miles Cheong. Now Ian has still got that retweet on his profile at time of recording, by the way. The Quartering. It's going to be very expensive and logistically prohibitive to get justice from Ian Miles Cheong and Rebel News. They are banking on the fact I won't pursue this because I need my lawyer to make connections in both Malaysia and Canada. This is exactly why I need to do it. Marissa Hanson, start a GoFundMe. I believe Ian has been quite dreadful to a lot of people and I'm certain they'll be happy to help you. You're damn right they would. Journalists, charitably called as such, are not free of consequence. He stole content and then he poisoned the well to deal with the fact or reflect on the fact that he's been stealing content from people for ages. He hides behind the fact that he's got Elon Musk on his side. It doesn't mean you're free of consequence, bitch tits. You're a silly sausage that needs to get a proper job. Ian Miles Cheong. Some people really do forget a lot of the stuff they post on Twitter when they were drunk from years ago. They were all archived, you know, and I held on to them. Don't know how some people plan on winning a lawsuit when Discovery will blow up in their faces. It's good to be meticulous and not sloppy. Spoken with no level of irony from a man that steals content. All of which has been archived. Ian Miles Cheong, watch out. He's going to crowdfund this and then probably keep the money for himself. Why don't you tell people what you did with the money that went to exclusively games or the time you crowdfunded an app to find MTG games locally? Others to support Ian Miles Cheong had retweeted or were retweeted by Ian Miles Cheong from as early as February of this year. Quartering literally copying Ian Miles Cheong for clickbait content. How embarrassing. Basically posting the same video, but with a different title. The Quartering. The number of people who have reached out privately and publicly to support his lawsuit has been humbling. Even folks I feuded with. I'll start the process on Monday and have a better idea later in the week what I'll need. And if you believe aggressive libelous statements from journalists are not okay, please let Rebel News know that this is not okay. Ian Miles Cheong and Rebel Media have made false and damaging statements about me, which breaks my heart because I love their work. I honestly didn't even know they had any work left. I thought they were all bum dossers. My mistake. I'm intrigued to see how this one plays out because, as has been pointed out, someone's in Malaysia, the others are in Canada. But when it comes to the argument of plagiarism, which is what the first part is, and then poisoning of the well through libelous and slanderous comments, this is a defamation argument. Does it become a lol suit or a lawsuit? I'm not entirely sure right now, but I'm intrigued to see how this one plays out over the course of the week, and yes, there will be updates. And in before someone mentions, did you see what happened with Boogie over the weekend? Yes, I saw him sit down with somebody we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. Thank you. Turns out YouTube are striking anyone that references the person he sat down with, which is why there's no follow-up video on it.